breaking news, it just happened a couple of minutes ago. The playoffs to get in to the MFC, which is the Ncube Foundation Championship, what used to be the NFD, the second tier of South African football. The playoffs are being held at the Gwala Stadium a little bit earlier today. I did the first game on SABC Sport and SABC One as well, giving you the game live as we've promised to give you more live games across the continent. But we also gave you the second game live as well. Vusiwe Ngobo was giving you that game there. Mkonza's there. Pro Pilan is there. Velile Mnyandu are there. We're happy for their safety. Nadeem is in the studio with me, but what we're hearing is there was unsatisfied people with the results, and there was shootings. There were bullets and there was shooting at the stadium after the game. So I want to cross to them live right now. When I spoke to them, they were getting into their cars and they were driving away from the stadium. But we want to quickly cross to them, and I'm hoping that the lines are going to be ready for us to talk to them. It's a very sensitive issue at the moment, and we couldn't rush into it. But imagine that, a football match's outcome decided by fire. That's what we're dealing with right now. The two teams that have gone through, in the earlier game, you had Uppington versus Penyo Home Defenders, and it was Uppington that won that first game. They automatically, of course, after winning the semi-final, because two teams go up, they get elevated into that status regardless of what happens in a final. And then Orbit were playing the home team, the KZN team in Umsing, and the Northwest team won that match. Now, I wonder what it is that could have triggered that. Of course, we couldn't watch that game because we're making our way here. So we missed a big chunk of that game. It's 10 after the hour 6. Perhaps we take a... Okay, we've got them on the line now. Pro Pilan is with us, as well as the Spium Cons, our regulars here on Podcast Fridays, starting a show off in a different way. But when there's breaking news such as this, and it is as big as what this is, you have to take it live. Pro, thank you so much for joining us. Konza, thank you for talking to us. You guys cool?
Thank you. And the viewers at home, my listeners at home, I corner Sambanga, Silanje, taking Boy.
Pro? Oh, we're unable to get Pro at the moment. Perhaps Velile Mnyandu as well. We can be able to get him. Konza, Mnyandu now. Well, I mean, while we wait for him, perhaps you can give us some stats and facts here of what happened. We're hearing of gunshots. We're hearing that, there were people that weren't happy with the result. What exactly transpired from where you were sitting, and what were you able to gather?
Scary scenes, Andile. I've never seen such thing in football. Remember, the only thing is seeing it is Stampede, where Kaizer Chiefs played Pirates. But this one, completely worse. We've had gunshots from the fans of Umsinga. And it's very surprising because the game was won fairly by OBT. One would never say the game was influenced by the ref or there were bad decision. But I believe that SAFA needs to take this up because games like this, also is a better advertisement for football. It was scary.
But because from what you were seeing, I mean, what could have triggered for people to act in that way? What could have triggered it? What was it? Just the result and the way it ended, or is there something that could have triggered?
I think Andile results. It was triggered by the results. I believe they came into the game thinking they'll win this match. Obviously, the events of the match changed, and you could see that even the first half of the match spoke to Msinga fans that were looking at, hey, we're not going to win this match. Maybe that's what triggered everything, because the result itself was fairly not drive. Even the goal is very clear. Maybe one would say maybe the goal someone was tripped. No. I think the result has triggered all these things, and it's sad for our football, man. It's sad. It's not good for each village.
Yeah, it is indeed to be hearing gunshots. And of course, you ran out of the stadium into the car and you were out, so you don't know if there were any injured parties, if anybody, was, in the line of a fire or anything like that.
Yes, the only person that reported injured is the goalkeeper coach of the very same singer. But was hit by missile, you understand? Yeah, so I don't know. SAFA needs to look at it deeper. This is not an easy thing, and people could have lost their lives, and innocent people. Yeah, and the fact that guns were in the stadium changes the whole dynamics of this thing. That's why the security, I'm not even going to talk about it because it looks like it was non-existent.
Joining us as well, he was at the stadium covering the match for SABC Sport. SABC Sport reporter in Pro Pilan. Pro, thank you so much for joining us. you don't think that a Harry Gwala, a stadium that hosts PSL matches, a stadium that you would think has the equipment and the personnel and the security in order to secure a game like this and make sure that patrons are safe, would end like this, Pro?
Good evening, Andile. Good evening to Brother Nadim in studio, and good evening to the listeners of all this number one sports show in South Africa. Sad scenes, MPT Andile, after we enjoyed such great amount of football, competitive teams. I think the quality of football that we watched today from Orbit College and Umsinga United, I think it's something that everybody was proud of. But unfortunately, at the end, the crowd were dissatisfied with the quality of officiating on the day. And when we spoke to a couple of supporters, they told us that they were not happy with the decisions that the match official was making, and they just wanted to talk to him. You know, when someone says they want to talk to the match official, is usually not something that one should encourage or see it happen. But when the shots were fired,
you were there.
Everybody ran for safety.
I was watching the game through you on Twitter, making our way here, Nadim and I. So you were there. You saw some of those decisions that were made. Were they decisions that you think were worthy of infuriating? I mean, nothing is ever worth people pulling out guns. But were they decisions that you were like, this is the decision that perhaps made people feel a little aggravated?
From where I was seated, to be honest with you, there were one or two decisions that I felt that the referee could have maybe issued a card, especially on Orbit College captain, because there was a time where he handled the ball. There was a time where he tackled one of the wingers from Umsinga United, and the referee did not seem like he issued a card in that situation. And I think, but in some of the moments, I think it was 50-50 chances or 50-50 tackles that went Orbit's way or Orbit direction. And I think the fans were much annoyed by those situations and decisions, and hence they felt that they should retaliate at the end of the match. But overall, I'm happy that everyone is safe, and the only injury that we spotted was that of the goalkeeper coach of Umsinga United. I think the guy said he's the goalkeeper coach, because when he tried to stop the crowd from coming in, when he said to us, when he turned his back, he was struck by something on his head, and he does not know where that thing came from, or whether it came from the crowd, or it came from the stadium, or it came from the police, or it came from the crowd itself. So that is the only person that we saw that was injured on the day.
When we say there were gunshots, was it a single gunshot? Was it 2, 3, 4 gunshots? Was this return fire from 2, 3 different parties? What does the gunshots mean?
I can't really say much about gunshot, because I heard gunshot, but at that time we all ran for safety, and myself and Velile Mnyandi, we were preparing for post-match interviews. But when we had those gunshots, we ran for our lives together with the Orbit college players, and some they jumped over the fence and they went to the bushes outside the.
These are the players.
Because the players, yes, we ran with the players on the opposite side of the stadium, and some of the players, they were already in the bushes when we got behind the stadium. That is what I saw, but I can't tell you exactly whether the gunshots were coming from the police or the security, or they were coming from the crowd. But from how things were, I think it was a little bit difficult for anyone to turn around and check where the gunshots were coming from. It was all about running for your life and try to find your safety.
If you're just joining us and you're wondering, this is not business as usual. Breaking story, breaking news. SABC were there, and we were there strongly so. Mkonza was there, who's a regular on the show on a Friday. Pro Pilane, who you're hearing now, was there, as well as Velile Mnyandi, our reporter here at the SABC. Gunshots fired at the end of the playoffs there at the Harry Gwala Stadium, where you saw Orbit taking on Umsinga in the second game after Appington and Pelo Home Defenders had played their first game, Appington winning that one. This was for a place in the second tier of South African football, the Ncube Foundation Championship. Unhappy, displeased with the result at the end of the match. Gunshots that saw soccer players, professionals, people that are far from home, the Northwest and the KZN, jumping fences and hiding in bushes. An embarrassment. It's Sports Not Amplified with Andile on the Mighty Metro FM. I am Andile Ncube. It's not business as usual on a Friday, and I know a lot of you tune in because you want to hear Nadim. You want to hear Pro Pilane and you want to hear Mkonza as well, of course, as Opta Jabu. We will get back to programming as usual in a bit. Nadim is with us in studio, but in Durban, two members of this Friday team of the podcast Fridays in Spio Mkonza as well as Pro Pilane had to run out of the stadium. I can imagine you've gone there to work. It's so easy to get hit by a stray bullet. There was a game, two games in fact, that were hosted by the South African Football Association for promotion from the third tier of South African football, which is the ABC Motsepe League, to the second tier of South African football. We're trying to get a hold of SAFA right now because they host and they arrange for these. Two teams go through automatically after winning semi-finals. They go to play the final, but they go through after the semi-finals. And those teams were Uppington, who beat Polo Home Defenders, and Orbit, who beat Umsinga. After the Umsinga and Orbit game, there were gunshots at the stadium. Displeased with the result, home fans, Umsinga were home, they in KZN. There were gunshots, people ran. You've got players jumping fences to go into bushes. Just scenes that you don't want to see in South African football. SAFA are the mother body that organizes this. They should have made sure that people that go into every gate were searched for weapons. If we can't even go into a stadium with a glass bottle, how does somebody get in with a gun? Nadim is with us as well. We're going to be getting back to business as usual, like I've said. Nadim, you were sitting there the whole time, looking and following the story in utter shock and awe.
Yes, Andy, it's very shocking, but I've attended a lot of this kind of playoffs games. The security usually, in all the stuff attended, it's not usually tight because they don't really check your bags. They don't usually in the stadiums where they go and host, they don't have the security of the Premier Soccer League where automatically they scan you and see if there's a gun or not. It's easy, I would imagine, just to get in with a gun, especially in KZN. It's a lot of people die there, unfortunately, with guns. So it's one of those provinces where, but the good thing is that Pilane and Mkonza and Velile Mbuli, I mean, all of them, they're fine. But the painful thing is that now we're seeing guns in football. It doesn't matter if the referee maybe you feel like was or not on your side, but you need to accept the results. Football is about that. At the end of the day, it's going to be one winner, but let's hope it doesn't continue because it's not right. I mean, even the security, you cannot blame them because you're not going to be able to go to extreme. It's up to people, maybe whoever carried the gun and decided that if his team loses, football is about three results, you win, lose, or draw. But if you lose, you need to accept it. Even if like you feel like you are robbed, there are still channels within the South African football where you can let your complaint and all those kind of things. If needs to be, if maybe your complaint is valid, the game could even be replayed. But taking a gun, I don't even think it's going to solve anything. I think that was just unfair and wrong.
We're trying to get a hold of the CEO. She was at the stadium. Lydia Mnyepa, she was here a little bit earlier this week as well. We're trying to get her a view on this because SAFA is the mother body, of course, and they're the ones that would have organized this tournament here, right? So we're going to hopefully be able to get a hold of her and, ask her from her point of view as to what happened, what could have gone wrong, what T's did they not cross, and what I's did they fail to dot in this regard here. We are happy, though, that the members of this team and everybody that was at the stadium is safe. I do know Gutining Lenu, who were at that stadium, listen to this show. So please, 086-000-2160 or WhatsApp us on 060-552-7303. If you were at Gwala Stadium this afternoon, where you can imagine there were kids, your little son, your little daughter who went out to just go watch a game, could have come back in a body bag because somebody could not control their emotions after a loss.
Yeah, they shouldn't take this shooting that happens outside to the stadium. It's not supposed. The shooting that happening in KZN where they kill councillors and all those kind of things is not supposed to be happening. But now they are trying to put it in the stadium. It's just wrong. Honestly,
it is indeed.
The law must take its course. 26
after the hour 6. We're going to carry on with our conversation as usual, but I'd love to hear from you. I know, Mapara, you were at the stadium. Give us a call on 086-000-2160. WhatsApp on 060-552-7303. Ugly scenes at the Gwala Stadium where there has been shootings at the stadium. Players running for their lives, jumping fences and hiding in bushes. These are players that don't come from the region. Only one team comes from the region, so they don't even know where they are. They have no idea where they are. They're going to hide in a bush and just hope for the best. There were police at the scenes by the time that our team was able to get out of there. But it's scenes that should not happen. We're going to take a break. But when you do call us, we will be taking those calls and voice notes if you were at the stadium. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll start Podcast Fridays with the news of Hugo Bruce. I'm hoping that we're going to have enough time to do the GOAT conversation. I don't want to rush it either. But we've got Mkonza. He's in the car now driving. They couldn't stay at the stadium to do the show either. Yeah. We've got Pro Pilane. They're on the road. So I'm hoping that the quality is going to be great because they had to flee the stadium. Let's take a break. When we come back, we begin with that GOAT conversation. Pro Pilane, if you're just joining us, sorry, I mean, we're in the middle of a story, a breaking story here, and I'm watching the visuals. I'm going to tweet this because it doesn't seem as if there's anybody that you can see that's getting injured. But, I mean, there's a guy wearing a grey jersey here that's literally running and shooting into a crowd. There's bottles being thrown as well. One can only hope that those are not live rounds and live bullets and that people weren't hurt here. But it's absolute chaos at the Gwala Stadium. I'm looking at a video in front of me now. There is some cops. They've got their guns drawn out as well. Some people in plain clothes as well. So you can't tell who's who. But everybody's got guns drawn out. And there seems to be a crowd that's throwing bottles back. It's scenes that shouldn't be. And the guy that's shooting seems to be shooting towards the tunnel where the players are running as well. It's really horrible scenes that are at the Gwala Stadium where there's been gunfire and gunshots at a place where there should never be. The one thing about football lovers is they're the people that can take pain. You can support Arsenal for 20 years and they never win anything. And every single year you wake up and you support them because that's why they call us supporters. That's why they call us supporters. In South Africa, I'm a fans. I'm a supporter. Because whether things are good or bad, we're the ones that stand up and give the support. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. Nadeem, have a look there because I can see now you're trying to stretch your neck. Let me go to Pro Pilane, who's still on the line with us. Pro?
Yes, but Andile.
I mean, I'm looking at the video now because we hadn't had a chance to see it. That's coming out. It's firing into what looks like the tunnel as well, and there's different gunfire there. I mean, horrible, horrible, horrible scenes that we're seeing there. But I want to go back to something that you said and that's why I want to speak to SAFA's CEO as well, because I want to ask about the level of refereeing as well. Because you're saying there is one or two decisions that you felt maybe shouldn't have gone the way they did. Which decisions in particular did you note that, hey, this could be problematic? And also, sitting wherever you are, I'm pretty sure when those decisions happened, you were able to judge and hear the crowd from what they were saying, they are unhappy with this particular decision.
Well, in football, it's a men's game. So for every 50-50 chance, you'd expect to referee will.
It's a people's game nowadays. I mean, it used to be a men's game, but I hear you.
Decision based on whose foot was up and who won the ball, and Umsinga supporters were feeling that all the 50-50 decisions were going the opposite college direction, and in some of these incidences, they were not your malicious or hard tackles, but it was just your soft 50-50 chances, and the crowd they kept on being frustrated by these calls by the officials. But from where I was seated, there were one or two incidences that I thought they warranted a yellow card, and the yellow card was not issued. And I remember the player that they wanted to see getting a yellow card was a player that was very much influential in the Orbit College team. He was the captain and on jersey number 12, and he was just a superstar for the team. He was controlling everything in midfield, and the crowd, you will understand why they felt that this particular player should have received a yellow card or received a red card in the match. But for me, these are not incidences that should have warranted any form of a violent situation. But from what we heard from the people that were in the crowd, they felt that those decisions were not, that the referee was not fair in some of the calls that he was making. Hence, they felt that the referee should have done better on the day, and the defeat, of course, made matters worse for the supporters.
Give us a call. If you were at the stadium at the time, if you saw what happened there, if you were able to watch that last game and you weren't sitting at home watching it on SABC Sport, give us a call on 086 0002160. Some voice notes as well on 060 552 7303. We've got some, Timmy says, from people that were at the stadium. Timmy says there is, and there was some people just want to speak about it as well. So let's go to it. Let's go to some of the voice notes.
We gon' get 'em. the Metro FM studio. 060-552-7303.
Good evening, Andile. I think SAFA should take a radical decision to stop hosting such tournaments in KZN for a while. If they are going to resort to gun violence when they lose, because they put people's lives in danger. I'm from Rustenburg and I'm very proud of Orbit. Well done, boys. It's Buseletso in Rustenburg.
Evening, Andile. Evening, Metro FM. I'm shocked about the scenes that happened. I've studied at Orbit. I'm from Rustenburg. I know the coach very well. I know some of the team members from Orbit, I know them. But what happened today? I don't know. Someone once mentioned that football is a matter of life and death. But today, we just got proven right. This is too much, Andy. I don't know even what to say. Anyway, it's in Rustenburg. Hala Metro FM.
Good evening, Andile. I'm listening to your show. The situations in South Africa now is very bad, Andile. Imagine someone going to the stadium with a gun. It's very bad, Andile. I think now it's not about sport, but the Ministry of Police should just fix this. It's a very big problem. Now, I don't want to say we are in a banana republic, but what can I say? It's Moses Mokwena from Gwala. Thank you.
I'd love to hear from you if you were at the stadium. If you had a gun at the stadium and you were shooting it as well, you can call us anonymously so we can tell you what we think and you can tell us what you think. Let's have that conversation. If you think you have the right to carry the gun and go into the stadium, let's have the conversation. Give us a call. 086-000-2160. But I want people that were at the stadium. If you were at the stadium, I know it's still chaos with people leaving the stadium, but by now you're in your cars. 086-000-2160. Let's talk about this. It's not even a footballing, a sporting matter anymore, is it? We've gone into ground unchatted as a South African audience now. Where something as sacred as the thing we love, you think about a playground, you think about a stadium, this is where kids go to play and grow, this is where dreams are made. And you bring a gun to a sporting church. 90,000 people at any given go can be at an FNB stadium. And if it's not nipped in the bud now, it means somebody's going to think, hey, this is something that's okay. It was at Gwala. Now, what about we take it to Kabeja? Hey, man, let's go to Orlando with it. Hey, let's go shoot at FNB. It's the derby. It's 90,000 people. If we keep quiet right now, that's what we're saying is okay. The South African Football Association, you listen to the show. I know you do. Show leadership right now. Don't wait till Monday to send a statement saying, we condemn what happened and it is unfortunate and those perpetrators should be found and arrested. No. Show leadership right now and stand up and said, yes, we might have not been good enough in the security that we didn't provide for those that were to the game to watch it, and their safety and their blood would have been on our hands, but this is what we're doing about it right now.
But the thing with stadiums is people can easily get with guns at the stadium. It doesn't matter with stadiums. I mean, even the 2010 stadiums. And
it should be stopped, Nadim. We shouldn't let it happen.
No, it's not something that has been happening. The reason why you...
So you're saying the safety is not up to scratch?
I can't say that. I'm just saying, getting with a gun, when you enter a stadium, they don't really, even if you can go to Madrid now, anyway, they don't check your bag. What do you have? So people, they can.
But they have those
and we don't even know.
detectors.
We don't even know. There's a way of camouflaging even drugs at the airport. They camouflage anything. It's something that's not happening in this country. That's why we're condemning it. It's not something that has been happening. It's something that started today and it needs to stop today.
Well, we're very happy that PM Kwanzaa as well.
Yeah.
Of course, as Propilan and members of this team were safe at that stadium there. Yeah. I mean, it's taken the normally jovial happiness of this show on a Friday, and it's made it something that it's not. We were hoping that SAFA would step up. They would stand up and they would speak and say, this is not it. But Timmy, I can see him frustratedly saying,
I'm sure they're still getting some information because it's still a new thing.
You come out. You come out and you speak, Nadim.
Yeah, they will eventually speak.
If that's what you have to say we don't know everything, You were there at the stadium. Tell us what you saw. Tell us what you did. You know what you did in as far as providing security. Let's take a quick break. It's 6:41, and for those that tune in because they want to hear the GOAT conversation that we have on Fridays with Nadeem Propilan as well as Mkonza and Opta Jabu. The GOAT conversation, of course, is the greatest of all time. We started in the goalkeeping department and we asked the question, who has been the greatest of all time goalkeeper in the PSL history, which is 96 to date in South Africa? 4 names came out. What were they, Nadeem?
Yeah, Andrew Arendse, the goalkeeper. Right back, we said Sizwe Mtaung. Remember, centre back, it was Mabizela and Sangweni. And then left back went with David. But some of them, they say David Kanamia, it was a bit.
Left back was Tsepo Masilela.
No, it was Siakatiene.
And Siakatiene, those are the two strong ones.
Siakatiene was a better player than Tsepo Masilela. There's not even a debate there.
No, there was a debate here. You had even forgotten Siakatiene.
Yes, but immediately, and Wiseman can change his mind.
So now we're supposed to move to wingers. To say who,
yes.
And we're going to go with 2.
It
wingers,
was very interesting, the wingers one.
But we're going to pause that conversation. The best wingers of all time. We're going to pause that conversation and we'll take the conversation next week. But what we do need to get into are the big stories. And we're going to start with Hugo Bruce. We played this a little bit of it for you. But let me show we've got everybody. Konza. We're going to go into the stories. Let me see if we've got Pro Pilani Pro. All right, the whole gang is here. Here's the first one, guys. Hugo Bruce announced the squad Bafana Bafana to take on Morocco, and there was a lot that we're going to talk about here, especially Mayo, Lyle Foster, and what he's had to say about them. But he spoke to Mazzola Mlefer as well about one particular thing, that Morocco, at the moment, is stronger than Bafana Bafana. Have a listen.
Please start to understand that if you play against teams like that, the world champion France, the third on the World Cup, Morocco, that you are the weakest team. You are the weakest team. Don't dream that you, for this moment, you have players as good as they are. The reality is that they are a much better team than we for the moment. So don't ask miracles. Even when you lose 3-0, 4-0, even then there's a good part of that. And the good part of 5-0 of France was that we start thinking, we said, oh wait, what do we have to do to have a better team?
That is the coach, Hugo Bruce, there speaking to SABC's Mazzola Mlefer after he was exclusively on SABC Sport doing the squad announcement, telling us the 23-man squad that he'll be taking. Mkonza, what do you make of what he's saying there? And there was a huge uproar. What does he mean? We're facing a stronger team. We don't expect to win in this game, because people were saying, surely you should always be advocating for positivity. What do you make of what you've just heard from Hugo Bruce?
First, let's look at the attitude of Morocco. Morocco, they've selected their strongest squad. I mean, World Cup semi-finalists. So they want to use this match as a preparation. But again, Hugo Bros, for me, one thing I will give it to him, it's consistency. Because for any coach, they'll want to go for a settled selection and obviously Namat tactics. But Hugo Bros, for me, a lot of questions that I have in my mind. But I know, because I'm a coach myself, I always ask myself, my coach is on Mkondo wow, because the omission of Mudau, it doesn't make sense for me, because the defender of the season, similar to what happened to the defender of the season last season, which is Umnobo, but it's a story for another day. Lyle Foster, we understand, he speaks about he wants him to do the preseason Nepal, because he's got a relationship no Vincent Kampan. But again, Andile, Mayo, joint top goal scorer, how possible with a country, with a national team that has a low turnover of strikers, how do you not select Mayo? Because now we don't want to pinpoint other players that are selected, and we're looking at their consistency in application, and we're questioning it.
Oh, not sure what's going on with Konza's line there, but we'll stop it while it's there. Before I go to Pro Pilani, and Nadeem is in the studio as well. There's a lot he's covered there, and we're going to go to the Mayo and Lyle Foster one. I just want to start with what Hugo said there about Morocco being stronger, and that when you're playing teams that are world champions, that are African champions, that got to the semi-final of the World Cup, the expectations should be the same as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with the coach. He's being realistic and he's being very honest. We don't have the material to compete with Morocco. Remember, Morocco lost in the semi-finals of the World Cup. I mean, they recently beat Brazil, the only team that have won the World Cup 5 times. So they are a very strong team. The coach is being realistic. We can see what he's doing. We're happy that he qualified. Morocco and Bafana Bafana have already qualified, but you cannot just go to the media and lie and say, Bafana Bafana ready to face on Morocco. Morocco are very strong. Most of their players are playing, like some of them, they've just won the Euro. The goalkeeper, number 1 goalkeeper in Morocco, Bono, who was playing for Sevilla, just won the Europa. beating Roma. Is a very, very strong team. I think I can't fault with the coach the way he does things because the results are there. I mean, it shows that the team gradually is improving, but we don't have the kind of players that Morocco has. I mean, we can't say we don't even have a single player that has played in the Champions League. Tomorrow is the Champions League final. In the whole competition, there was not even a single South African who was part of that team. But Morocco, they do have players who are even like Hakim Ziyech, who are playing in the Champions League. So I can't really the coach has won the Champions. I mean, the CAF Champions, the CAF Africa Cup of Nations in 2017. He's a highly experienced coach. He knows what he's doing. Let's just support him.
Pro Pilani?
But Andile, I listened to Coach Hugo Bruce and I heard everything that he said. I think he's correct to say that we are not yet at the level of Morocco. I think as South Africans, we need to be patient. I think the only problem that some South Africans have with Coach Hugo is only his selection. And when he says we are not yet there at that level, I think he's 100% correct. But as a country, we need to take it one step at a time, and we need to encourage more teams that are playing in the CAF Champions League, CAF Confederations Cup, to give as many South Africans opportunity as possible, so that we can have more players that are exposed to a high intensity and high level type of football. And I think by the time we get to AFCON, players like Lyle Foster would have gained much experience in the English Premiership, and hopefully the likes of Pesitao will use the experience that they've gained playing in Egypt and playing for a team like Al Ahly. They will bring it to the national team, and hopefully will compete in Ivory Coast, because if we don't compete in Ivory Coast, then I think that our problems will be much bigger than one would have thought.
Right. Kanye Tamayo was the one omission from the squad that was glaring, and everybody was talking about it. PM Konza brought it up as well. So let's go to the coach now when he was speaking to our journalist here at the SABC about why Mayo is not part of the team.
You have to make decisions and you have to make choices. And sometimes the choices are difficult also for me. Should I take Mayo, or should I take Saleng, or should I take another striker? Sometimes you can't really explain why you choose that player or why we don't choose that player. And again, the choices are starting being difficult sometimes. He deserved to be with us, but I can only select 23 players.
Nadim?
Yeah, I agree with the coach. You cannot select anyone. I mean, Zakele Elbasa, your boy, scored the goal that qualified the nation to the AFCON. So why are you going to drop him? Because Maya has scored 12 goals in the league. No, we are not going to do that. You select the players that you feel are doing better.
But don't you select based on form right now?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to select based on form. You select based on the players that are fitting in your vision in the national team. Because someone can be in good form, but when it comes to the national team, I mean, Mkonza was playing in the national team, but was not the best defender, Kaizer Chiefs. But the coaches, the coaches used to see that in the national team, and in the national team, he used to play very well. There was a time when Mkonza was the only local-based defender in the national team. Not that he was not even the best defender in South Africa, Mkonza, at that time. But the coach, they saw something that he was contributing in the national team. Sometimes coaches, I don't feel like we should criticize them for the sake of criticizing. Lepasa, you know how I feel about him, but he's the one who makes
sure. At national team level, he's a different player.
He has done well. Are you going to drop him because Maya scored 12 goals for Cape Town City? No, you're not going to do that. There are a lot of factors why Lepasa maybe is not scoring the goals and all those things. But in the national team, he's a different ball player. Pilane is always saying, I mean, he saw a lot of things positive about him. I mean, from last year, and we have seen that in the national team, he's really, really done well. The coach, I mean, is not going to select everyone. It's only 23 players, and out of the 23, only 11 will start, maybe 3 sub. That's it. So you're not going to select just because you're on form. Your form doesn't warrant you to be in the national team anyways.
Konza, the man who wasn't the best at his club, but was amazing at national team. What do you think?
I think for Andile, I have to agree on Nadim, because I just said when we started, every coach has his own mindset. And Hugo Bros, I understand in terms of selecting the players that he's selecting, they have to fit within his tactical confines and in tactical blueprint. So sometimes Mayo might do well for Cape Town City, but you find that it doesn't fit into how the national team plays on how Brooks wanted the team outlook to come out. But again, we understand. But he needs to come out and explain clearer what does it mean, because I think he has explained, but we need to go deeper in terms of explanation, because we are a country that needs explanation in order for us to understand his ego. Some of us understand, but not everybody understands what is the thinking process ka Hugo Bros. But I understand he didn't select Mayo based on Mayo maybe product doesn't fit into, because even Msimango, we spoke about Msimango, and remember we had this conversation in our show, the fact that Msimango does well for TS Karate. He might not have that level higher to play high-profile matches for national team because he doesn't have the necessary experience. So I understand Butu Brooks because I'm a coach myself. The way I coach is really different from everybody else.
Okay, and another thing, just to support what Mkonza is doing. Remember Pizzo when he was a national team coach? When you ask him why he didn't select this player, he used to say, don't ask me about players that are not selected. Ask me about the one that I've selected. Because sometimes someone can come with 5 valid names. Why this one is not there? Why Mtau is not there? Why they can't play all of them? Mobius Danwell is a right back for the national team. Are you going to remove him because this one is the defender of the season? And unless now we're not going to look at the awards and say anyone who's in the awards, there's no criteria that says that. So the coach must just work with what he feels is good. We'll judge him on results.
Pro?
Yeah, but Andile, Kanyeza Mayo, I would have expected him to be in the national team. Whether he plays or whether he doesn't play, it wouldn't matter to me. I think if for an opportunity to be there and to train with Abobongo Hlongwane, it would have given him it would have done a world of difference for him. But at the end of the day, I think we need to support the coach and we need to support whoever that he has called. I think South Africans are tired now complaining about the selection of the coach, and it's about time now they just trust the process and support him. Whoever that he calls up, you just support him and we give him.
All right, it's exactly 6:53. It's not business as usual on the mighty Metro FM here on Sports That Amplified with Andile, because of the breaking story that we covered for the better half of the first part of the show. Speaking about the shootings that have happened out at the Gwala Stadium in Pietermaritzburg, after the home team, or the KZN team of Singer, lost to Orbit for qualification into the Ncube Foundation Championship, the second tier of South African football. We'll continue covering this story if you want to see how bad it is, because, when people were speaking about it, you think to yourself, oh, man, shooting. Go look at the video. I've tweeted it, and I'm pretty sure that SABC Sport as well, follow us on Twitter, will be covering it. For all of you watching now on Facebook and Twitter, you've been able to see firsthand how angry this has made myself and Nadeem sitting in the studio. Didn't appreciate what we had to report on. It shouldn't have been. But yeah, gents, with the time that we've got left, because we would like to perhaps try and get some calls in, let's move on to something bigger than us right now. This weekend, tomorrow, the biggest club game in the world is what they call it. The UEFA Champions League. Inter versus Man City. Mkonza?
If let's see which memory bank is. You remember 18 years ago, they call it the miracle of Istanbul. Liverpool played AC Milan.
Oof, what a game.
What a game. It also reflected the continental clash. Tomorrow it's also a continental clash. I mean, Pep has just won FA Cup, has just won the EPL. So, but the only thing that has been eluding him, especially Manchester City, is the Champions League. But again, if he has won the league with 89 points, the consistency is there. He's been doing so well. So he'd want to sum up the season by winning the Champions League. I think since 2021, he hasn't gone past quarterfinals of Champions League with Manchester City. So it gives him a great opportunity. And how he did it against Real Madrid in the semi-final, beating aggregate on the 5-1, it speaks to a team that it's high scoring, a team that is doing so well in terms of the confidence. But with Inter Milan, it's a different ball game. Italian football is very unpredictable. We're gonna see Simone Inzaghi. I think also he's got his sleeves a bit higher because he understands how Pep applies himself. It's going to be an interesting Champions League. But again, the pressure is on Pep Guardiola and Manchester City.
Oh. So you're saying the pressure's on them, but you're seeing them go through. You're seeing Man City lifting their trophy for the first time. Pep Guardiola doing the one thing he's been unable to do.
He last won the Champions League in Barcelona twice. So the last thing that is left now on Manchester City is to win the Champions League. And there's no better day than tomorrow for him to win the Champions League.
Let me go to Pro Pilane. I'll go to Nadeem List. Pro, you there? Oh, he is on the road, of course, Propylana. We'll see if we can get him back there. But in the meantime, because I do want to take at least 1 or 2 calls. Nadeem?
Yeah, and as I showed you via phone, I thought you were going to highlight that. That Man City have only won 1 game this season away from home. They've drawn their last 5 games. The only game they've won, it was against Sevilla in Spain. Remember, Sevilla didn't start the season well. They were losing to everyone. They yet in the last 5 games, they have not even scored more than 2 goals. They have not won. Remember, this game is not being played at the City of Manchester Stadium. It's being played in Istanbul in Turkey. So that's why I feel Inter Milan has a very good chance of winning it, because they've got players who are part of the World Cup. I mean, their striker is the one who scored the winning goal for at the World Cup. In the penalty. So I feel Man City, they might continue chasing the World Cup. Pep Guardiola has really done well this season, but at home, this match is away. It's one of those matches where a lot of people are going to put money and think Man City is going to win, but it's not a straightforward match. It's a very, very tricky, because Inter Milan, they've been solid in the Champions League, home and away. That's why I fence them, that I believe that Manchester City might actually not get the trophy they want.
Let's talk two very quick calls here. Mandilake is out in deep slot. Mandilake. Hey, no, Lapara, Sikren, boy, talk to me.
It's so nice when you go breathing in a man. You go breathing and I Liberia, I think sure about his bases. I don't know whether it's a very spaces. In the Liberia, my Kuluma, the game against Morocco. I couldn't get high Morocco, the Shire, the Glea. It's your team playing against number 1 in the world, Brazil. We have never said put it out there to players. Somebody can lose. Then Morocco is blind. Every time Ghana World Cup, we look at Bruce. I demand that we're not going to squad guys which the person and the sooner the better. We need to do away with Lama Banana, the other coach Banana State.
That's the thing about disrespecting coaches, and he's calling the coach a plumber. He's qualified for the AFCON. He's won the AFCON in 2017 with Cameroon. So I think we need to give him a bit of a respect, honestly. The coach is much away with what he's doing. I think the coach is more experienced than him. I think it's unfair that we just jump and say the coach is clueless, must go.
Mandilake, listen to that. Nadeem is giving you stats and facts on the coach's achievements.
Stats and facts Liberia.
Yes, if football is tough, it's not given. It's not given.
If Zimbabwe was there, they were going to qualify. Why is Menesis Belamaya want to be able to play Bonagalayo? I don't do it. No, it's motivates a player. We have a players who are on form. It about back. You know about back. About Gwala. He's not the best.
Exactly. As a coach, you must have your own people.
That position right now. But then we will see. I don't see he's going anywhere with Bafana Bafana. Him and the president of SAFA, these are the people we need to let go.
Mandilake, whether we agree or not, you know I appreciate you calling. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
He makes a good point, though. He says, we've played Brazil when we weren't the best team in the world. Our 96 game. And nobody said, hey, guys, Asambe, this is Oshawa, these are the champions, these are Abu Pepeto, Abu Romario, the best in the world.
It's not even a good point, because that team just won the AFCON. It was the strongest team. Bafana. Lucas Ate was playing for Leeds United. And was even the captain there, where a lot of international players were quality. Now we don't even have a single player in the Premiership divisions.
That's why he's here.
Across all competitions. So there's no good point that he made, actually.
That's why Nadeem is here. Let's go to Sianda. I can't see that far, Sianda. I don't know where you're calling us from. But Sianda, welcome.
Hello, Andile. I hope you guys are well. This is Sianda I'm calling from Kalomana.
We're just happy, man, Sianda, that the members of our team that were at the stadium are safe. But anyway, what are you saying?
What I'm saying is, Andile, I just need clarity on what Nadeem said, because it seems as though guns are being associated with KZN. And I'm from KZN and I live in Gauteng, right?
Mina nawe siyafana, ngibuya kwaZulu nami.
Yes, so I live in Telomena. DJ somebody was shot up my road. Guns are a South African problem. They're not a KZN problem. Let's not talk as if Usafa was let because it was KZN and they should have known. No. Guns are just a problem in general in South Africa. So we need to be clear on that and to be fair on the people of KZN. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to form, with regards to the national team, I once read a book by Steve Hansen, the former All Blacks coach, who won the back-to-back World Cups, and he was asked why he didn't pick experienced players, and he said, I did, but only those that were in form. So it had to be in form experience, and not just because you've played well in the national team before, but you're struggling in your club, and now I'm going to pick you. No, you have to be doing well. So what I'm saying is I agree with Pro Pilani. At least Umaya should have been in the squad because he's on form, and he's had a way better season than Ule Pass. That's all. Thank you.
Sianda, hold on before you go.
Sure.
You're correct in your first form to say it is a South African program, but I think what Nadeem was highlighting there is the fact that, and you can go look at crime stats that came out in South Africa. Once again, KZN was the leader in gun violence in South Africa. Those were the stats that were released in South Africa. I think it was just about 2 months ago when the stats were released about rape and murder and gun stats in South Africa. And what he was trying to say is this is a province that needs to work a little bit better. And that's what's with it. But you're correct in what you're saying as well. And we appreciate your call.
Yes, because it's most likely that, Andile, even if I'm walking in the streets of Cape Town.
It could be anywhere.
It could be anywhere. I'd still die. Like you, Nadeem, and I are at work right now. And if we let the odds of us making it home safely are quite questionable in South Africa.
No, I appreciate it, Sianda. We've had our time, unfortunately.
No,